Now, Messy family, imagine dropping your 3-year-old child off at their cousin's house to go celebrate your birthday just to get a phone call that your child was relocated somewhere that you did not give permission for him to be. Also, he ended up drowning. These are the type of stories that after I get done listening to, I have to take a break, from social media just to collect myself because this is a lot of trauma in one. This story is coming from a creator named Paris Munya. I will have her referenced throughout the video so you guys can go follow her for more updates. But let's get into this heartbreaking story time.
Story time about how I went to celebrate my birthday with my mom downtown and got a phone call that my son went to the bottom of the pool. Part 1. The day that my son passed was June 5th of 2021. I asked my cousin, can she watch my baby for me because my mom had birthday plans for me. It was a surprise date. I didn't know when I was coming back. I didn't know what was planned. All I knew was that I needed a babysitter. So I called her and immediately she was like, yes, I can keep him. And she knew it was going to be an all-day thing. So that was like not a problem. She knew that. So the morning of my mom come and get me at like 8:30 a.m. They're still asleep at my house, her and my son. They're asleep in the bed. So I leave and start getting, my day started. So they wake up. She texts me, let me know that they're up. I text her, I'm like, do you need anything? I'm like, I left all his clothes out, his clothes, his socks, his shoes, everything, just in case y'all go somewhere. Side note, I left her my car also, just in case they wanted to get out and do, anything. So I told her, like, do you need some money? Do I need to send him some money or anything? She's like, no. So, that's good. That's cool. So, meanwhile, me and my mom, our first stop was full body massages. Our second stop was brunch. Our third stop was the Water Tower Mall. Down. As we're leaving the Water Tower Mall, I get a call from my cousin. So she calls me, but she's pointing the phone to the pool, right? So my baby is in the pool, but he's on my best friend at the time. He's on her hip in the pool. So I never knew that he was going to a pool. I never knew he was going to a party. I never knew.
This is what pisses me off the most. Like, if you gonna watch my kid and you gonna take him somewhere that's that dangerous, you let me know. Because if something happens to my child and I didn't tell you, because I personally wouldn't let my child go to the pool with nobody. Because I just know people are not watching kids like they're supposed to, especially when they're not your kids. And I'm not about to attack the cousin right now because we don't know exactly what happened. But if you take somebody's kids outside of the house where they left them at, you should let them know. Even if they say, here's the car, you can go do stuff, you should still let them know where you're taking their child. Like, I'm already irritated just off of the initiation of what's going on. But let's keep listening.
Any of that. So I'm looking at my baby on FaceTime in the pool. So I'm like, hey, baby. He's like, hey, mommy. I'm like, you having fun? He's like, yes, mommy. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm out with Nene, which is my mom. I'm like, I'm out with Nene. I said, I'll call you later. He's like, okay, I love you, mommy. I said, I love you, Myers. And he said the same thing to my mom. And they told each other that they love each other. And we hung up. Literally, those were the last words that me and my son told each other was, I love you. That's it. So after we got off the phone with each other, we had one more stop to make. That was part of my birthday surprise. We went to this spray paint and sip spray painting class. So this is where things start to get really like weird. So we're driving. When I say we could not find this place, we could not find this spray paint and sip place, like, for nothing. So me being spiritual, I'm literally a spiritual being. I told my mom, I'm like, mama, let's just go home. I said, we'll get something to eat when we get home. Like, it's okay. We don't have to stay here. I said, we can't find it. That's probably a sign that we just, like, let's just go. So she insisted on us going to this spray paint and sip place. So I'm like, you know what, it is part of my birthday, you know, surprise that she had planned for me. Like, okay, like, we'll find it. So we found this man that was on the street, and we asked him, like, do you know where this place is? So he told us, and we, you know, we actually found it. So when we get in there, the energy was so heavy. I don't know if it was because we were late getting there. Everything just felt weary in that moment. So we get in there, we actually get through the class, we get there or whatever, and we're, you know, spray painting. I'll upload a picture of my painting also, because it has so many signs that something was happening at that moment. Oh my gosh. Like, the details in my painting is crazy. So after we, you know, we wrapping it up at that place, as we're like, you know, getting done, you know, we're taking pictures at the end, you know, with our pictures and talking and stuff. So I'm like, okay, mama, like, let's go. So we get in the car to drive off, and I'm like, okay, mama, once we get home, you know, I'm gonna pick up Amayas, and, you know, we gonna get something to eat. You can come get something to eat with us or something, but I'm about to go get Amayas when I get back home. Y'all, sure enough, soon as I told my mama that and we got to the stoplight from leaving the spray paint and sip place, I get a phone call. So the phone call is my TT, which is my cousin's mom, call me. And she like, oh my God. And we're like, what's wrong? They just said Amaya went to the bottom of the pool. Okay, part 1 is getting too long, so I'm gonna have to do a part 2. Part 2 on how I went to celebrate my birthday with my mom, and then I get a phone call that my son went to the bottom of the pool. So I left off saying how my TT called us and told us that my son went to the bottom of the pool. So at that point, I'm like, wait, what? Like, I'm so confused. My initial thought was that, like, they were informing me that he went to the bottom of the pool and they, like, got him out somehow. My brain never, ever, ever, ever went to tragedy, like, ever. So we immediately hang up from my TT and call my cousin, who, you know, he was with. So I'm like, what happened? Like, what's going on? And she's just, like, stuck. Couldn't talk. Like, I said, what happened? He went to the bottom of the pool. He just went to the bottom of the pool. I said, well, what happened to him? Like, what does he look like? What, like, is he breathing? So she tells me that he's breathing. So as a mom, I'm just kind of like, who? Like, I just could breathe a little with her telling me that he was breathing. So me and my mom, we're already on the highway. We doing a dash trying to get there anyway. So then she tells me that the ambulance is there. I'm like, what the you mean the ambulance is there? Like, why is the ambulance? So, after she tell me that the ambulance is there or whatever, like, I'm kind of knowing that it's serious, you know, like, it's getting serious. It's not just like they're informing me no more. And y'all probably think that, like, okay, girl, he went to the bottom of the pool. What did you expect? But as a parent, you just don't think death. You just don't think tragedy. You don't think that it's gonna be as bad as it is. So my brain is kind of like going, like, I feel like my brain was trying to protect me in a way. So after that, I hang up on her. I call his dad. I'm like, you need to get to the hospital. Like, they just told me Maya went to the bottom of the pool. Like, you need to get there. I found out that he's further in Chicago than I am. So I was still going to make it there before him. So I'm like, oh my God. So I call his TT, my son's auntie. I call her, like, get to the hospital. Like, Amias is there. We're still about 30 minutes out. Like, I need y'all to get there to, like, see what's going on. They won't let my cousin and my friend at the time, they wouldn't let them go back. No, I didn't know what I knew now. So I told her, like, you need to get there, like, take your mama and see if they let y'all go back until we get there. So she, she calls me back. I'm on the way. I'm on the way. She called me when she gets to the hospital, and they're not letting her back either, or her mom, which is his grandma. They're not letting them back either. So I'm like, what is going on? Side note, I've never lost anyone this close to me. So I don't know how the hospital work. I don't know like what it means, when they're telling you to sign a verbal consent to treat form. I don't know none of this. So I'm new, and to like a person who's been through this before, like y'all probably would think like, girl, they were giving you all the signs that he was deceased, but I wasn't catching on to him. Like I just was literally oblivious. I was in denial. I was in like everything, shock, everything. Me and my mom finally pull up to the hospital. We running in the hospital. So I get to the front desk and I'm like, well, I skipped the part. While we're still on the way to the hospital, I was talking to the front desk receptionist in the emergency room. She was like, do you give me verbal consent to treat? I said, yes, treat my son. So she's like, okay. So that gave me a little more hope, because I'm thinking, if you ask me to, for a verbal consent to treat my son, that you're treating him, that he's alive for you to treat him.
Right? The emotional roller coaster that she has to, like, I don't like the fact that her child. Now I know this is not about me, but the fact that her child name is so close to my son name is Anais. Her son name is Amias. Like, this stuff is like hard to even listen to. I'm trying to wrap my head around everything. Just like how, like, listening to her tell this story is almost like I'm there in the moment with her. Like, I can understand, like, I can feel her pain. Like, I can feel that grief. Like, it's hard to even fight back tears, because I couldn't imagine how I would feel in that moment. Everybody's kind of just like playing in her face, even with the cousin saying that he was breathing, knowing that he was not breathing. If she didn't cut off her whole family after this, she's stronger than me.
So that kind of like made me a little bit more okay. So I get there or whatever, and I'm talking to the lady, the front desk receptionist in the emergency room, and I'm like, I'm Amias's mom. I need to get back to his room. Is nobody there? Like, they're not letting anybody go back there to see him. So she kind of just was like, you could tell she was just like, this is gonna be bad. Like, she just paused and she just looked to the side and she said, I need the room. So I'm steady telling her, like, I need to get back there. Like, you need to, like, let me back. And she just kept telling whoever she was talking to. I think she was talking to the chaplain. I didn't even know who he was at the time. So she like, I need the room. I need y'all to clear the room out. So I'm confused. Honestly, really confused. Like, what room is she talking about? So us back, or take us to like this side room in the ER. So we're sitting there and it's this man there. He's a chaplain, but I never knew what a chaplain was. Like, I'm so new to all of this. So I'm sitting in there, he's talking to me and, doing what chaplains do. I don't remember everything he was saying, but he was talking to me. And I'm sitting there, my legs are shaking. They're going a mile a minute. They're shaking terribly. So I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, okay, like, I've still got hope for my son. So they just kept telling me that the doctor is gonna come in. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm still just shaking. I'm worried. I'm nervous. It's me and my mom in the room together. I'm sitting there. I'm shaking.
Hold on, Messy Family. Now, I know some of y'all probably trying to figure out what a chaplain is, so I just looked it up really fast just to see, like, what is a chaplain? So in a hospital, a chaplain is often called when there's a crisis, serious injury, or death. They're there to comfort families, pray with them if requested, and help process grief. Okay, so if you ever see a chaplain come into the room, just know it ain't about to be no good news.
Terrified at this point. Death still never crossed my mind. Part 3 on how I went to celebrate my birthday downtown Chicago and got a phone call that my son went to the bottom of the pool. I left off at the part there where we were in the side room in the ER where the chaplain was. So they told me that the doctors are gonna come in. So I'm like, okay. So at this point, I know that it's getting, like, I know that it's bad. So I'm in denial at this point. Like, that's the stage of grief that I'm in at this moment. I didn't even know my son had passed away, but like, my brain was not comprehending what was going on. So I knew it was bad. So at this point, I'm like, okay, tell me he on the ventilator. Tell me he on life support. Tell me something. Like, I was going to take anything. I was going to take tubes everywhere. I was going to take, like, I was ready and I was prepared for that. I didn't care. So I literally was sitting there. We were quiet. We were silent, but we're sitting there. You could tell me and my mama so nervous, like, to see what, like, that they were going to say. So the doctor comes in. Doctor got on a white coat. He comes with 3 nurses behind him, 3 ladies, and they all got on teal color scrubs. I remember it like it was yesterday. They come in and they all sit down. So the doctor is talking to me and he's like, do you know what happened to your son? I said, no. All they did was call me and told me that my son went to the bottom of the pool. That's all I know. And I came straight here. He said, well, when the paramedics arrived, he did not have a pulse and he did not have a heartbeat. So I'm like, wait, what? She told me he was breathing. He said he was not breathing. I said, okay, I'm like, what's next? Okay, you told me that. What's next? He tells me, does your son know how to climb a ladder? I said, yes, he know how to climb a ladder. He has a bunk bed. Him and my older son shared a bunk bed, and Amaya's had the top bunk. So I'm like, yes, he knows how to climb a ladder. He said, okay. He said, we believe that he climbed in the pool on his own, unattended, and got in the pool. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm still, like, I feel like I was still in shock. Like, I was not trying to hear how bad this was. Like, I still didn't think it was that bad. So I'm like, okay. So it got silent. The whole room got silent. It got heavy. So I was like, okay. And he was like, I'm sorry, but we did all that we could do. I said, okay, like, what does that mean? And he just said that I'm sorry. And immediately, like, when he said that, Grey's Anatomy popped in my head. And I know that's what they say when, like, that's it. When somebody has died, that's what they say to a family member. And after that, I just remember, like, going black. Like, my vision went black, and I immediately stood up. I stood up, and I remember the nurse coming behind me, and, like, I was getting ready to, like, fall back, and I remember just her pushing me up with her hand and just saying, don't fall. And when she said that, my mom got up, and we just started screaming, like, screaming so loud. It was like, still to this day, it's just like unbelievable that this has happened, like, that this happened to me. You always hear about, like, things happening to other people, but it never hit home. Like, this hit home for us so bad. Like, still to this day, it's just unbelievable. Like, I just didn't know how to feel in that moment. Like, every emotion you can think of, what was going through me. Like, just everything: sad, mad, pissed, angry, wanting to somebody. Like, it was just terrible in that moment. Part 4, on how I went to celebrate my birthday and I get a phone call that my son went to the bottom of a pool.
I'm not gonna lie. If what would you've done? Like, listen. One thing I've noticed, like sharing these type of stories, is you tend to like I gotta learn to put myself to the side because it's people I might not know exactly what it's like to go through this type of situation, but there's so many people out there to do. And if you are one of those people that have lost your child or just for whatever reasons, whatever caused it, I truly hope that you are getting like whatever help you need to process this pain. I hope you're not just letting it go and just washing it over because this is so traumatizing. It's hard to listen to. Like, I'm being real with you. Like, this is hard for me to stomach. Like, I will be enraged. But let's continue on with the story time.
Okay, y'all, so please bear with me. I do want to let y'all know before I tell this part of the story, I do have two different sides as to what happened because my best friend at the time and my cousin were blaming each other. So please bear with me if the stories get like a little confusing because still to this day, I'm still a little confused. I don't have a solid answer as to what happened to my son still. So what I do know about the story is my cousin woke up, got my baby and herself together, put on their clothes or whatever, and called her sister. Now, her sister is also my cousin. These are my first cousins. These are my mom and their mom are blood sisters. So these are my first cousins. So Amias and my cousin went to go get my other cousin. They all three met up with my best friend at the time and her sister. So that makes 4 adults, 1 child. So they all went to my best friend at the time. They went to her girlfriend's house. And got invited to a graduation party. Now, this is a graduation party, first of all, at another house. My child was the only toddler at this party, which I'm still so confused about because he had no business there in the first place. This is a graduation party. Y'all, please stay with me. The house that the graduation party was at, I have no clue where this house was. I knew not one person at this house. I did not know whose graduation party it was. I had never seen these people in my life. And they took my baby to this graduation party. And I do want y'all to know I didn't find out this information until after everything happened. So, when they called me, and showed me my baby in the pool, it was 4 adults that I trusted with my child. It was 2 of my first cousins there, and it was my best friend at the time, which was his godmother, and her sister, which I was really close with also. So I had a trust with these people. I'm like, it's 4 of them there. When I seen him, yes, I was taken back that I seen my baby in a pool, but I seen him on my best friend at the time. I seen him on her hip. It gave me a more sense of security. I had 4 people that I trusted there with my baby. I'm like, there's no way, in my mind, I'm like, he's safe. They're going to take care of my baby. Okay, so the story is they got to the party. My best friend at the time and my cousin that I left my baby with, their sisters, which is my other cousin and then her sister, got drunk. and they got drunk pretty much, and they were ready for them to leave pretty much because they were drunk. So all 4 girls, y'all, stay with me. All 4 girls got in the car, drove maybe, I think it was like 7 minutes, maybe. Drove 7 minutes to drop the drunk girls off to their cars, and then came back to the party. Now, in the midst of them taking the girls back to their cars, they left my baby at the party. Y'all, when I
would have faded out everybody. They knew not to tell her this. They knew not to tell her this shit, because I promise you, it would have been another tragedy. You took my child to a graduation party full of little teenage adults. Y'all get drunk knowing you were responsible for my child. Leave my child.
I tell y'all that I did not know these people. I did not know whose house this was. I did not know a soul there. So, of course, my baby is not going to know anybody there. So, my question is to them, why would y'all leave my 3-year-old son at a house with a pool with people that he did not know? This part is so much harder to tell than the other parts. I don't know why, but it just reminds me that y'all did not give a F about my son. Y'all couldn't have gave a F about my son. Seriously. Like, this part is starting, the anger is coming out. Just me telling this part of the story. So, when they arrived back, so when my cousin and my best friend at the time, when they came back from dropping the girls off at their cars, one story was a 10-year-old girl got in a pool and found my baby at the bottom of the pool. The 10-year-old girl got out of the pool, started screaming, and ran up to my best friend at the time and told her, "It's a baby in the pool. It's a baby in the pool." And then that was one part of the story. The other part of the story was they got back from dropping them off at the cars and just walked back to the back of the house where the pool was. They sat down, I guess talked, or they were on the phone, or whatever the case was. They were just sitting around. Didn't check to see where my baby was when they got back from dropping him off. That's another story that I was told. The inconsistencies as to what actually the story leading up to what happened. And I know it's confusing to y'all because it's still confusing to me. I used to literally...
Family does this all the time. And this is why I'm a big advocate of, like, it don't matter if you my blood or not. I go off of loyalty. I go off of, like, if I don't feel safe around you, I cannot let my children feel safe. I can't leave my children with you. Now, I don't know how she felt about these cousins, but she probably was already iffy. If she was thrown back at the fact that they took him out the house and took him to a pool, that just shows right there, like, mentally, she already kind of knew, like, but it's family. They give that, it's family shit. And it's like, oh, it's going to be cool. This is family. He's with family. Family got drunk, left. This is a lot of emotional, like, this is a lot. Doing these story times, it is a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. This, like, you gotta, like, literally, or I feel like I'm just absorbing all of this energy, all of this negative energy that's coming from her, and I feel the rage. Like, we about to go slide on your cousins, man. Come on, this is crazy.
Sit at the table and pieces together to figure out what happened to my son, but I realized I was going crazy. Like, I was losing my mind trying to piece together. So at this time in my life, I'm okay with not knowing the story as to what happened. Maybe one day when I get enough strength to actually ask them to be honest with me and tell me what was the story, like what happened up to y'all, leading up to my son passing. But I'm not there yet. I don't want to talk about it now. Like, it's been 4 years, so I'm kind of okay where I am, not knowing the actual story. After they let my child drown, they still didn't have the decency and was still lying about what happened to him. But this is getting long. I'm gonna have to do a part 5. I did not know this was gonna be so long. I'm gonna do a part 5 and tell y'all what happened when they got him out of the pool. Okay, part 5 about how I went to celebrate my birthday and get a call that my son went to the bottom of a pool. So when they figured out that he was in the, he was like laid at the bottom of the pool, my best friend at the time and my cousin, as they say, were in shock. So they didn't jump in and get him. Neither one of them did. My best friend at the time, her girlfriend jumped in, got Amias, picked him up from the bottom of the pool, got him out, and this might be a little graphic. I'm literally just trying to talk about it. Like, this is therapy for me, y'all. So I'm just kind of like ready to tell the details. How someone looks when they're like, when they have drowned for an amount of time, a long period of time. The mouth, the eyes, all of that. That's what they said when she pulled him up out of the water. That's what they seen. She laid him out on the ground and did CPR on him until the paramedics got there. So I guess while she was doing the CPR, they were, the owner of the house and them were on the phone with the paramedics. Talking to them until they got there. They told them to continue doing CPR until they got there. Did CPR. Now what they did tell me, which was another lie, he had a faint pulse. But knowing what I know now, like, no, he didn't. Like, he was already gone. And I do want to let y'all know, I found out like maybe a month later the amount of time that he was in the pool. Y'all, it's literally disgusting how long my baby was in the pool. And it was an extended period of time. Like, there was no coming back for him. He was in a pool that long. So the paramedics got there, got him in an ambulance. They did not let my cousin, or my best friend at the time, they did not let them go in the ambulance. Pretty much, they told them that they could follow the ambulance, but they cannot ride in the ambulance. And then that leads into like us, getting to the hospital. That leads into that other part. So I know y'all still got a whole lot of questions. I'm gonna try to go through my comments and see, the amount of questions that people ask the most, and I'll make another video answering some questions. And I do want y'all to know that tomorrow makes 4 years that he's been gone. So I'm actually able to talk about it now without crying. And like I said in the other part, I talk about this so much. Like, it's therapy for me. Like, I help other people. And that's another story. Like, the fact that how I'm getting through this situation is like mind blowing. Y'all, I don't know. It's just God. I give like all glory to God in this situation, because how is somebody like still living everyday life with other kids, and still having to wake up every morning like, something this traumatic didn't happen to me. So I'll be making other videos about how I've been getting through this, and with my older son getting through this, and I'll probably make a video about me telling him what happened too, because he wasn't there. So yeah, just be looking forward to more of my videos, talking about my journey, as this is therapy for me, y'all. So yeah.
All right. Deep breaths. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, let's just take a moment to take a deep breath real fast. Now listen. I don't know how y'all feel listening to this whole entire story time, but to me, the amount of rage, the amount of sadness, frustration, I completely 100% understand where she's coming from. If she was to completely cut off her whole family, not talk to nobody ever again, heck, even kick the couple of their ass, I would 100% support that. I'm damn near ready to go slide with her. I don't even know. Because that pisses me off so much. I'm so happy she didn't tell us how long that little boy was in the bottom of that pool. And whoever told her that, I think maybe the paramedics or maybe forensics, they can tell you stuff like that, I guess. I don't think nobody else could tell. It'd be crazy if a person walked up and said he was in that pool for that long, and because then that person would have probably caught every bit of rage I probably had. But Messy family, I don't have any much else to say. What do you guys think? What would you have done if you've ever been in a situation when you lost your child? Feedback, please. Let us know in the comment section. How are you dealing with this? And if you have a story that you want to share of your own, please email me, messylifestories@gmail.com, or you can reach out through my website. But we having issues with the website, so the stories are not really. I'm hearing a lot of people say that the stories are not. It's not allowing them to upload the stories for some reason. So I'm working on that. But if you want to reach out to me, you can email it to me, tag me and stuff like you guys do, and I'll find it. I'll try my best to find your stories. I look every day, I daily trying to find raw, real, emotional stories that people are really going through, because those are the stories that's going to help move more people in better directions, if you ask me. Finding stories that we all can relate to is more valuable than just finding stories. And I go through 100 stories a day, and it still takes me 2 weeks to find y'all something like this. Because I want the voices of the people who are really going through something to be heard. Now, it don't have to be at the scale of this all the time, but it has to be real. I don't want satire story times. I want real story times. Tell us what you've been through. But anyways, Messy family, I might be on another hiatus after this one, so I hope you guys enjoyed these 2 uploads that I posted today, or maybe this is the first one, second one. You're gonna have 2 today. So I appreciate you guys, and make sure y'all follow Manye Paris on TikTok for more updates. To the next story time, Messy family. Peace out.